I am ready.
Fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. On that note, welcome everybody to today's webinar, 7 Habits of Highly Successful Agents. We're so excited to have you here. To get the most from today's webinar, we want you to take really good notes.
I was waiting for you. You were waiting for me.
Exactly.
That's what
and
happened.
Use that Q&A panel there to ask any questions you might have. Don't stress if we don't get to your question right away. We are going to be taking those at the end. So if you don't have to bounce, stick around. If you want to reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can reach us on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Darryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first one you see there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually one of the best-selling books on Amazon to real estate agents. Darryl was also named as one of the top real estate influencers of 2022 by Risk Media Magazine in the Newsmaker department, which is the 3rd year in a row for that. So we're excited about that. He is also the recipient of the coveted CSP designation by the National Speakers Association, which is only given to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. On that note, Coach Darryl Davis, take it away.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I'm glad you're feeling better. I can tell.
Yay.
Yay. All right. So welcome. Good evening. Guten Tag. Willkommen. Welcome. So a couple of things I want to say is that a couple more pieces of homework to do. I want to talk to the people that maybe this is especially their first time. They want to know, is this a sales pitch? You know, these free webinars, sometimes it seems like a lot of times that's what it is. That's not the case here at all. You are going to learn the 7 things. I'm going to give you a tremendous amount of content, but to be fully transparent with you, this is part of a weekly training process with our coaching students that we call power agents. So some of you on this call, you're power agents, you know who you are, but there's another group of people that you're our guests. You're not a power agent. We're so glad that you're here. The reason why I share that up front is because given that this is for the power agents, from time to time, I'm going to have like a sidebar conversation with them. I'm going to speak directly to our students, our coaching members. But if you're a guest, you're going to get a tremendous amount of value out of this. So now that I said that, let me address what is a power agent. So real quick, this one slide, it is our coaching program, which right now it's at 47. We're planning on raising the price again very soon. But if you want to try, and by the way, when we raise it, people are locked in at the lower price, are locked in. We're not like Netflix. It stays at that price for them. But if you're a guest, you could try it for $5. So, and you'll have complete access to everything, the website. You can cancel any time during the trial, after the trial. It's month-to-month membership. But I will tell you, guests, that you really want to take a serious look at the end, because you get everything that's on the screen is emailed to you immediately once you become a power agent during that $5 trial. So it's worth a lot more than just the $5. So it's a real, but we hope, the reason why we do that, people say, why do you give so much away? We hope that you'll get a sense of us and that you'll want to continue and stay a power agent. With that said, I do want to talk to the power agents for a couple of things. First of all, power agents, you were given, we text you, we posted it, and you're going to get an email, or you already got an email on it, which is the survey that we sent out. And I'm going to ask you, if you have not filled out that survey, to please fill out that survey. There's only 2 questions because we are adding features to the Power Program in the coming months. And before we pull the trigger, we want to get your feedback to see what you think, what you feel. So that way we'll put what you tell us at the top of the list of what we think would be good improvements. So, okay. The other thing I want to talk about for both folks on the call, hang on, I dropped my little mousey thing, is this webinar, these weekly webinars, I either go wide where I cover a bunch, or I'll go deep on one topic. So when I go deep on a topic like calling for sale by owners, we just focus on FSBOs. When we do the listing appointment, just how to do the listing appointment from start. This webinar, because we're covering the 7 habits, we're going wide, right? I'm just going to give a couple of things in each one of the 7, because honestly, each one of the 7 I could spend an hour on, which we do in other sessions. The last thing I want to say is for power agents who have been really religious and being on the calls every Wednesday, I want you to ask yourself, how much of these 7 things have you really incorporated into your business? You know, because some of this will sound like review for you, right? Like, oh, I heard Darryl talk about this before, but I want you to ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how well have you mastered that one thing? And anything that's not a 10, grade yourself on it, right? So grade yourself 7 times. And then after the webinar, say which one of those 7 you're going to bring it to the next number, whatever that is for you, right? Okay. So gang, here's the 7 habits of highly successful agents. And I will tell you where this comes from. You know, I've been training over 30 years, and we've had agents, our members, who have actually had their best year ever. And then there's been some non-power agents who have left real estate. What's the difference between the people who have left real estate these last couple of years and the ones that actually thrived? Here are those 7 characteristics that we've noticed. Number 1 is you've got to know your worth. So the really successful agents are real clear about the value and the worth that they are. You know, we know this. Your attitude dictates your altitude. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter. You can know how to generate 6 figures, but if who you are or how you feel about yourself is 30 grand a year, that's all you're going to make. So I want you to really focus on not everybody needs it. Some of you need to have a shift in yourself and how you see yourself and the value you are. You know, if there's one thing I hope that we got out of the last during this whole pandemic over the past couple of years is that we've learned that you are essential. You are essential because when we were telling people you had to shelter in, where do we tell people to shelter in their home? This is why I believe real estate has done so well the past couple of years. There's been other factors, lumber being a shortage in supply and build a new home construction. There's been that. But also, I believe people did one of 2 things. They either said, you know what, I'm going to fix up my current home, or I'm going to find my dream home and move into that. And that's what happened. You know, but let's forget about just the pandemic. Let's just think about what's happened over the past 100 years. A lot of agents don't know this, that realtor has been around since the 20s. The first real estate board, it was called the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, I believe was the original version of NAR. That was their first convention, was in 1929. You'd have to agree, gang, that something would not be around that long unless there was some value to it. As a matter of fact, if you were to go to NOLA, which is kind of like attorneys' multiple listing service where they do some of their research, find court cases. I looked up the term of practicing real estate, and this is what I found. I thought it was really interesting, is that anytime you act in somebody else's behalf, whether it's buying or selling real estate, in order to receive a fee, a commission, or any other type of compensation, you're engaged in the practice of real estate. Look at this next sentence. To do this legally, you must be properly licensed. If you are not licensed, you are committing a crime. This is what I want you to get, gang. People that are, if people were to practice real estate without a license, they would be breaking the law. They would be creating a crime. That is how important your license is. That's how important, how essential you are. See, look at this. You said to a homeowner, say, Mr. Ms. Hunter, if you were sick, you would probably call a doctor to look after you. If you were getting sued, you probably would call an attorney. When it comes time to doing your taxes, you probably have an account. Why would you do anything different than your most important asset? Now, think about this, gang. There's something that's very powerful about what's up on the screen right now. All of these people on the screen share 2 things in common. Actually, 2 things in common. Number 1 is you can do it yourself. If you're sick, you can medicate yourself. Not recommended, but you could. You could go to court, represent yourself. You could do your own taxes, do your own finances. You could sell your own house. They all have that in common. You know what else they all have in common? That in order for you to do it for somebody else, you have to be licensed. That's how essential you are. That's how important our profession is. Again, we would not be around as long as we have if we didn't provide some kind of value. If you're a power agent, you know I love this analogy. because it's so powerful and it's so clear on how essential we are. If you were to look at selling real estate like putting on a big production show, a Broadway show, you've got all of these people involved in producing the end result. The end result is opening night. You've got the actors, you've got set design, lighting design, costume design, makeup, choreography. You got all these people. Now, every day in rehearsal, who is the one person that everybody talks to? That's the director. You can't put a Broadway show together without a director. I mean, you could, but it would bomb. In a real estate transaction, you have the same exact thing. You've got all these departments or people involved. You've got the sellers, you've got the buyers, you've got the appraiser and the engineer. They might have an attorney, the sellers, depending on where you are in the country. I don't need an agent, I got an attorney. You've got the buyers that might have one, title company, home inspector, banker. Here's what's interesting. All of these people do not talk to one another. You see, let's say you've got a homeowner who's talking to them, representing themselves. You say, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, as a homeowner, you would be talking to your attorney if you had one and to the buyers, but you would never talk to the appraiser. You would never talk to the engineer. You would never talk to the home inspector. Your attorney, you said, is going to do everything. Your attorney only talks to the other attorney to you. They don't talk to the buyers. They don't talk to the appraisers. They don't talk to the engineer. You've got all these people not talking to one another. And the scary thing is any one of them has the power to kill the transaction. There's only one person everybody talks to, and that's me, the real estate professional. You trying to sell a house without an agent is like trying to put a Broadway show together without a director. It's going to bomb. Listen, Mr. and Ms. Hunter, if selling a house is simple as putting an ad out in the paper or online and finding a buyer, you want to be licensed to help other people do this. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to communicate to you is you are essential. And I want you to know that not just in your heart, in your head, but in your heart, that the fact that you have a license, you are just as important up there as far as licensing when it comes to doctors, lawyers, accountants. Here's the other thing. You must believe you're worth what you charge. You know, communication is like an iceberg. This is a Japanese poem that says communication is like an iceberg. The words that we use is like the tip of the iceberg. When you see an iceberg, the tip only represents 10% of the whole iceberg. The other part that you don't see below the ocean surface is where the majority of the iceberg is. Communication is the same way. The words that we use represents 10%. The other 90% we don't see is the intentionality, the words underneath, or I mean, the attitude and beliefs underneath the words. If you don't believe you're worth what you charge, it's going to come out. It's going to ooze out of your pores. Some of you, you've got to get that level of confidence to know you're worth the time and effort to work with these sellers if you're on a listing appointment. Buyers is usually not a problem. It's really those sellers. Here's what I'm going to recommend that you do for the guests that are on the call. The guests, I'm going to recommend that what you do after this webinar, I want you to sit down and write out every single thing that you do as a listing agent. Write out everything that you do, all the hard work, listen, I'm getting excited here, because when you think about all that you do, if you took the time and you sat down, you wrote everything out, and you look at that list, you know what? This is what should hit you. Say, Ming, I do this for free. Nobody pays you in advance. Nobody's cutting a check of $10,000. Here, go work. No, man. You're dipping into your own pocket, advertising, doing open houses, meeting buyers, doing inspections. Nobody paid. That's all free, because we only get paid at the closing table after we get. What a great deal that is. I got attorneys in our company. I got accountants. You know what? If my attorney is in the middle of a case, if we lost the case, which I have never yet, but if we did, I know what, I still got to pay the bill. What a great deal. They get paid regardless of whether they perform or not. Come on now. You got to wrap your brain around this. Here's what we did for power agents. Power agents, we already wrote out everything that you do as an agent. It's called the 184 things you do to earn your commission. Power agents, make sure you download that. It's in the listing part of the program. You can use this as on a listing appointment, but here's what I recommend you do, power agents. I recommend you read this 184 things before you go into the listing appointment. You're going to feel good about yourself. Let me talk about a friend of mine that we lost recently, Frank Shankwitz. He's the creator and founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm sure you've heard of Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is my favorite. This is my favorite picture of Frank and I, because we were in Chicago O'Hare Airport. We weren't traveling together. We happened to be. We just happened to see each other. I saw his big cowboy hat. I said, Frank. He said that. And anyway, so this was a lovely moment that we had. But years ago, when I met Frank, I interviewed him and I asked him this question. So, what advice would you give your younger self? And here's what Frank said to me. He said, I would fill my own cup first. I mean that financially. Take care of you and your family first. When the cup is full financially and starts overflowing, you can start helping others. I didn't do that, and I'm still trying to fill the cup. I never took a salary from Make-A-Wish Foundation because I've always wanted the funds to go to fulfilling wishes. It's a powerful statement from Frank. I mean, he was always struggling financially, trying to fill his cup, even in the later part of his years, and he's made such a mark in the world. Here's how I'm sharing that with you, because when you are on a listing appointment, taken away from your family, you deserve to be hired and paid what you're worth, because it's time away from your personal life. We got a great deal for these homeowners, you know. We do all this work. Again, we're not asking for any financial commitment up front. We're asking just for a commitment up front that they promise they'll do the right thing and pay us once we do the job. The second habit of highly successful agents that I've learned in my 30 some odd years in training and helping agents double their production is they think like a business person. They focus on building a business. Focus on building a business. Successful agents are building a business. Let me be clear with you. You are a business. You're not a salesperson. If you start shifting your thinking this way, you're going to shift what you do and how you do it. You're going to take more responsibility. You're going to manage things differently. You'll be less of a victim. You know, when you think about a business, when a business is opening up, I don't care what the business, let's say it's a bakery, because I love bake. I don't know if you can tell. Here's a wide shot. I like pastries. If I were going to open up a pastry, I probably wouldn't be profitable because I'd eat all my profits. But anyway, if I were to open up a pastry, I'd have to do a lot of things, right? I'd have to get supplies. I'd have to get the equipment. I'd have to get the location. I've got to have a brand. I've got to have a logo. I've got to have a motto. I've got to prospect the neighbors in the area to come to my store and buy my pastry. I got to be good at baking, at my skill. That's what it means to open up a business. You know, a business, they say it takes about a year for, if you can make it through the first year, especially in the food industry, that's a good thing because most of them fail the first year. Well, but there's building the business and building the customer base. I want you to think the same way as a real estate agent. So in building a business as a real estate agent, our pastries, our inventory, our stock is our listings. If you have no listings, you got no business. One of our power agents, Jonathan, he said, I love how this program has helped my mindset and shift to stay focused. It's helped me to turn my business, focus on building inventory. Here's the analogy I've always used before. If you had a shoe store and you sell your shoes, you got to restock your shoes. If you don't restock your shoes, your inventory, you got an empty store. And what happens when you have an empty store? You still got to pay the rent and the electric and the utilities and the employees and the insurance and yada, yada, just like our business. Darryl, it's so hard to get listings now. I know it's hard. That doesn't mean you don't. It doesn't mean you don't focus on that. Because what's the alternative? What's the alternative in real estate? You and I make money in two things. What is it? We're working with buyers or working with sellers. It ain't much more complicated than that. Buyers or sellers. That's it. The two places. Come on. Now, if you're not doing listings, then you work with buyers. Okay, how's that work? Well, let's look at what's happened recently the past couple of years. We have multiple offers, and everybody's fighting to get their offer accepted. Crazy stuff. They're over. I'll waive appraisals. I'll wash your car. I'll do anything. Hell, and while everybody's fighting, if there's 10 agents fighting, there's only 2 agents, only 1 agent out of those 10 that will win. But there's one that's a guaranteed winner. And that guaranteed winner is the listing agent. The listing agent always wins in every market, all the time. Always. So, just because it's hard doesn't mean that you stop. You just got to work differently. You got to get more creative. You got to get more training. You got to get more coaching. You don't just throw your hands up. So, focus on building a business. Know your worth. Number 3 is those top agents, successful agents, they know how to generate now business. See, there's a distinction between now business and future business, and we'll talk about future. That's going to be number 4, giving you a little insight. Number 3, knowing how to generate now business. Power agents, one of the things that we gave you, I absolutely love, is the Power Agent Tracker. And this is what I mean, Power Agents. You got to make sure that you grade yourself on this, or how many of you are actually using the Power Agent Tracker? You know, the idea for the guests on the call, how this works is, I think, is kind of self-explanatory. Over to the left side, you write down all the different things that you can generate some now business, calling FSBOs, calling expireds, doing open houses, calling orphans, calling over, like just generating business, staying focused. And across the top is the days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then what happens when you do one of those items? Let's say it's, what's today? Today's Wednesday, right? You call 5 past clients. Bada bing, you give yourself a check. Isn't it? Yay! It's fun. It's gamifying. The game for yourself is try to get as many checks on that page for the day. But man, you got to have at least one. One of our power agents, I love this, Dennis Wheeler said, I love being a power agent member. I appreciate you don't have a set of prospecting methods, but allow members to pick the methods that matches their personality styles. I'm being hosed down by great ideas. You know, for the guests on the call, power agents will tell you this. When you log into the Power Program site, there's literally, I am not kidding you. I am not making this up. There is over, because I counted it, we have over 600 pieces in the Power Program website. Flyers, marketing material, visuals for the listing appointments, things to help get buyers to sign buyer agents. It's just there's so much. But and this is, it's more than you'll ever need or ever want. And the reason why, this is how we think. We want you to find what works best for you. It's kind of like a diet, which I've tried every diet. I'm a diet expert. I tried Weight Watchers and Atkins and keto and the Hollywood diet. There's actually a diet called, I've tried it. I am a master at that. And you know which is the best, absolute best diet of all of them? I will tell you. It's the one you're going to use. That's the best diet. The one you're going to use. And this is why when we teach power agents, we give them a plethora of ways to generate listing leads, so you find the one that works best for you. Let me cover my favorites, though. I'm going to give you my favorites. My favorites are, and the reason why I have the wheel on there is because it's like a spoke, the concept of a tire and the spokes in the tire. Like if you don't have spokes, like you can't use the tire. What gives the tire its strength, its integrity, is the spokes. And in prospecting, you should have not just one spoke. You should have several spokes, and then you have a good round business. When it comes to now business, my favorite, FSBOs and expireds. Now, before any of you say nothing's expiring because the market's high, everything's out, and I wish I had the slide to show you. So you'll have to trust my word on this. And or there's no FSBOs because they can sell on their own. Let me just say something about that, okay? First of all, I want you to know when it comes to FSBO expired, this is my wheelhouse. This is my specialty. Some of my other colleagues, they're like referrals. Some it's, I don't know, cold call. Mine, FSBOs expires. As a matter of fact, we haven't done this class for a couple of years because of the pandemic, but when the live class that we do once a year, it's called the Inventory Intensive. And, you know, we get about hundreds of people, 500, 700, whatever the number is, come to the event, and they bring their own FSBOs. And then what I do from the stage is I call FSBOs live. I take my cell phone, I take the FSBOs from the audience randomly, and I just call. Now, my batting average, if I speak to 4, I'll schedule 3. That's pretty good. And anybody that has seen me, if you're on the call here, just you can shout out and say, I've seen Darryl do it. It's true. I'm really good at it. Okay. Now, our power agents, they use my dialogue, and they're just as good too. I just talked to one of them this morning, killing it. She's got like, I think in the past week, she's got 5 listing appointments with FSBOs. So anyway, here's my point. The reason why I'm telling you this is like, I'm not giving you my opinion without some expertise behind it, is my point. So let me cover a couple of things. First of all, the do not call list. And before I cover the do not call list, let me go back to what I was saying. So I just did an event for somebody on Long Island. And so Long Island, New York. So Long Island's really hot, for those who don't know. Hot, hot, hot. So I decided I had somebody who's a member go into MLS and do a search as to how many expireds and how many FSBOs there were in the market. And I can't remember the FSBO ones, but I know the expireds. In the last 3 months on Long Island, the number of expireds was over 5,000. That's a lot of business. And so when I showed it to the audience, they were like, because everybody would say the same thing. You know what? Nothing expires because it's all selling because it's such a hot market. I'm telling you, go to your MLS and look at how many expireds there are. Find the FSBOs. They're out there. It's just nobody's working them. Okay. And they're saying, there is. Okay. Now, so the do not call list. Sorry, let me go back to the do not call list. Can you call FSBOs and expireds that are on the do not call list? You must do whatever your broker tells you to do. But the research that we've had, I can tell you 100% with confidence, yes, you can, because the do not call list says you can't make unsolicited phone calls to people on the do not call list. A FSBO is the opposite of unsolicited because the FSBO is actually advertising their phone number. They're soliciting calls, especially if you represent a buyer agency. So, but if your broker says not to, then don't. But it's totally fair game. Expireds, same thing. Okay. Houses for rent is another great source of leads. These are people that are bleeding money. They need to rent their properties. Past clients are great now business to generate. And orphans. Now, what an orphan is are people who are, they bought or sold through your company, and that agent who did that transaction is no longer working in the company. So what you do is you ask your broker or manager, don't use the word orphan. They probably won't know that term. That's something that I just call it. And it's actually from the insurance industry is where that term comes. But anyway, ask your broker, hey, listen, you know, I was thinking, and you got to downplay it because sometimes they could be protective of that. So you'd say to them, listen, I was thinking, I was in a seminar and, you know, we have all these closed deals with some agents that no longer work here. And I'm just looking to shake up some business and generate some leads. Can I call them and see, you know, how are they doing? Or would they like a free CMA? Just do some calls. So downplay it and make those calls. And we have dialogue for that. But okay, here's the 2 things you need to get really good at prospecting now business. You must have a file system. And the reason why you need to have a file system is because, listen, let's be honest with each other. Some of you do not like to make phone calls, right? And so the thought of you making calls is like scary. You and I have, think of like a glass of water or something, right? Like the glass of water would be your motivation, your willpower. As you go through the day, you drink that. And of course, eventually the glass gets empty. So if you empty your glass of energy trying to find leads and FSBOs and you're disorganized, it sucks the energy out of you. I'll say that again. When you have obstacles, it sucks your joy. It sucks your energy. So being disorganized is that. So if you have a file system, what will happen is, imagine if you came into the office, I'm looking for a piece of paper, and I said to you, hey, Mary or John, here, listen, I just searched for all the FSBOs and expireds in the marketplace. I reversed it. I checked it against do not call list. I put a little mark if they are do not call. So here's your list of leads to call for today. How great would that be, right? Now you can like just hit the phones and hit the list, right? That's the power of a file system. My favorite one is RedX. We don't own this company. I wish I did because I think it's a brilliant company and it's a brilliant tool. what happens is this company, they go out and find all the FSBOs and expireds and houses for rent and pre-foreclosure, and they put it into this, it looks like a CRM kind of FSBOs, expireds. That's all they focus on, FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent. And when you click on it, then you have all the information, the telephone number, in some cases emails, and their address, and then you just dial for dollars. So, bada bing, you just make call after call, you see. And I'm going to tell you something about that. When you're doing the calls, you get better after each one because you get used to, like, it's like eventually you're like, there's nothing to be afraid of. Motion impacts emotion. So when you're in motion, call after call after call, you start to realize, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can so do this, right? Okay, so power agents, we just had a representative from RedX do a session, when was it? Last week. Generating leads. It was last week, yeah. Generating consistent leads, listing appointments. It was with Tyler, somebody who works at RedX. He's been there for like, I don't know how many years, 25 years or something. Anyway, it was an incredible session. It was over an hour and a half. Great questions, great participation. So power agents, make sure you watch that video, which is in your webinars on demand page of the Power program. The second thing you need is dialogue. You've got to get really good and comfortable with dialogue. And the reason why, now listen, I'm going to tell you, for those of you who don't know me, I am not, we don't teach memorized scripts. Because the reason why we don't teach memorized scripts is like, what happens if the other person doesn't know their part? Yeah. So like you go on a listing appointment, like, look at me. Am I looking at notes? No. You want to talk from your heart, not your head. Some of you, that's your problem, because you go into a listing appointment. This is you. Right? And you're trying to remember the script. And plus, they don't have your script. They don't know their part. That'd be nice. You go on a listing appointment. Here's your part. Here's mine. So, and the other reason why you're not good on the listing appointment, for those of you that are not good on the listing appointment, because you're trying to be something you're not. These are not your words, or somebody else's, and you feel inauthentic because you're doing, not being. It's called human being, not human doing. You can't do a script. You got to talk from your heart, and there's a way to do that, and which I'll cover later. But when it comes to the calls, though, making phone calls is the only part where I say you should have dialogue, not a script. I call it a dialogue. And because it's a FSBO call will go about 5-7 minutes long. That's how long it goes if you do it the right way. And so it's especially in the beginning part, right? So, and plus you can start, when you know it really well, you can create your own dialogue. You can bob and weave. Like, for example, hi, I'm calling about the house for sales. It's still available. Hi, this is Darryl Davis, Power Realty. How are you? The reason why I was calling one of your regular brokers to sell your property. So I'm trying to do it on your own. I'm just curious. You want to say the brokerage fee? Let me ask you this. Where you moved to? Why there? We need to get the buy. Let me ask you this. If I had a buyer's will to pay your price, pay one commission, could we work together? It is possible in some cases to do that. But first I need to see the house list. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. After all, you like complete strangers to the house. You don't know if they can afford the house with for free, where I'm licensed by the state. So I'm the safest appointment you give, not to mention 5 good and 5 potential people for your house. So let me, it's like 5 people at the same time. Can I come over at 6 or would 7 be better? Now, here's the point. When you know the dialogue so well, it's like dancing, because I like to dance. When you know the dance moves, what happens? You go on the floor confident, and you can invent your own dance, you see, because you know your go-to moves. So if you want to experiment a little bit, you trip up, you go back to what you know. And that's the advantage of having that FSBO dialogue know. So power agents, we have given you 12 dialogues for FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, voicemail, to leave on voicemail. Anyway, power agents, you are not a loss of words making calls to generate some now business. Come on now. Can I get an amen? Let's generate some now business. Let me tell you another good friend of mine, Brian Smith. For those of you who don't know, Brian Smith, he is the founder of the Uggs. I don't know if you know Uggs thing. Anyway, Brian, he had a lot of challenges in his business life. And he said the secret of success is being able to transform disappointments into blessings. And the reason why I wanted to shout out to Brian is because of that quote. What's important that you wrap your brain around is that every telephone call is an opportunity for you to get stronger at communication. So when somebody hangs up or something doesn't go right, don't get twisted. Don't get upset. Say, okay, this is here's my opportunity to learn and get better. Where's the blessing? Where can I Learn from this experience. How can I turn a breakdown into a breakthrough? You know, a pencil, when you get it out of the box, it's flat. So what do you got to do? You take a pencil to make it useful, to have it serve its purpose. The pencil was born for a purpose. Oh, did I not show? Yeah. Did I show his quote? Was that up on the screen, Julie? Brian Smith there?
I did not see it. Now
all right. Well, there it is now. Ha! Ha! I forgot to press a button. That's what happened there. Yeah. So anyway.
But you remembered.
What's that?
I said, but you remembered. So there you go.
But now I remember. Well, yes. So anyway, Brian Smith, that quote, here's what I want you to think. Going back to the pencil gang. A pencil is it's designed to write, but it starts off flat. What do you got to do for the pencil to live its purpose, to be useful? You put it in a pencil sharpener and it gets sharp. It is through the friction that the pencil goes through, makes it sharp. In business and in life, it's the same thing. Is every friction, every breakdown, every challenge is an opportunity for you to become sharp. So, number 3 is know how to generate now business. Number 4 is the top agents, successful agents. They have a habit of planting seeds for future business, having patience. I want you to think of real estate like you would farming. My power agents, you've heard me do. I love this one because that's what it is. Future business. When you have a conversation, when you drop off a smile stop, when you plant those seeds, eventually it produces a crop of success. So I want you to start to think about your business that way as well. Everything that you do to plant your seed, plant your business, right? Here's something, power agents, we gave you, and guess you can do something like this as well. I gave this chart to the power agents in one of our webinars recently that shows the quarters, first quarter, second quarter, third, fourth. And the idea is looking at the entire year and coming up with some marketing, promotional ideas in each quarter for generating future business. You know, FSBO's expired, houses for rent, that's now business. Future business would be farming and mailings and promotions. Let me give you some ideas. For example, to me, I love the open house. Open house is one of the most powerful tools that we have to generate business. Especially, this is one of the things, ladies and gents, I hope that we keep in our business. I hope you keep in your business. Is during the pandemic, we were having people mass and waiting outside, and we let people in one at a time. The great thing about this is that line is a form of marketing and self-promotion to all those neighbors in that area. They're like, what the heck is going on? Look at how successful that agent is. What is that agent doing that creates such demand like that? What's happening in the market? Is now a good time to sell? Come on now. This is powerful stuff. So even after the pandemic, I hope that you do this in your business with your open houses. You let people in one at a time. Have another agent there with you. Form a line. Have the second agent greet people, hand out a clipboard that they fill out a form, their name, it's like a ticket, no laundry. They got to fill out the form to get into that house. You're going to get more honest information. I love this open house idea. Power agents, we did a session for you just on the open house, a whole hour on how to make those open houses rain business for you. It's in the webinars on demand. And with that, there's a checklist on how to manage the open house, a 2-page checklist covering the 4 Ps: prepare, promote, present, and post open house. Here's some other ideas. Smile stops. This is all future business that you should be doing. Here's what a smile stop is. We call it a smile stop as opposed to door knocking, because we want to make people smile. You know, one of our power agents is, I think, the master at the smile stop. Larry Gardner. He is a successful top agent in Long Island, New York. He is a smile stop master. Let me tell you why we call it smile stop. There's an acronym for the word smile, which stands for S is the service. You're doing a service. You're meeting people face to face. You invite them to talk and to share and to chit-chat. You leave behind a token of gratitude, and then you elevate the relationship. You know, we have, I think, the best closed Facebook group. It's of power agents, and they just share so many great things. Mary Buttondeck, superpower agent. You know, she posted she was dropping off pies. It looks cold out there. Everybody's got their coat on, and I see snow in the background. But Mary, she's out there dropping off her pies. Let me Happy Pie Day, which was March 14th. I didn't know that. I should know that. I love pastry. This Ashley, one of our power agents, one of our clients were sick, and they had COVID, and it was their birthday. So, you know, she posted, I'm stopping by one of my cherished clients, a smile stop with a little cake, the tiramisu with the candles, very beautiful. One of our other power agents, Rhonda, smile stops are ready. On the back of this, which she gets, it's a chocolate bar. It's feeling lucky to have your business. Isn't that cool? And on the back, it said, an Irish blessing for you. May your home always be too small to hold all of your friends. Thank you for trusting me with your business. I love that, man. That's really cool. So anyway, we love the Smile Stops concept. We have a Smile Stop for every month of the year, like ideas for that entire month. So for example, if we look at May Smile Stops, these are just ideas. But Julie came up with all these because she's like, you know, I didn't know, like, you know, May 6th was Nurses Day. Like somehow Julie knows every holiday that's not a holiday, but it's a name. And so here's some ideas for Cinco de Mayo, the basket with salsa and chips with a little note. You're not you're nacho ordinary client. Thanks for being amazing. Happy Cinco de Mayo Day. Your neighborhood specialist nurses day. Stop by your local hospital and 5 local physicians' office with a basket of fruit, business cards, nice cards saying, for all you do to help keep the members of our community happy and healthy, a giant thanks. That's beautiful, man. Mother's Day, you know, pick 5 moms from your client list and stop by with a bottle of champagne, a bouquet of flowers, a little note. Moms help make the world a more amazing place. Happy Mother's Day from your neighborhood area. These are all great creative things. Creative things. You know, some of you probably follow Shark Tank or have seen Shark Tank. One of the first Shark Tank sharks is Kevin Harrington. We got to meet and chat, and I did an interview with Kevin, and he told me this when. But people don't know this. He used to, like when he was in business, he had an air conditioning company. And what he did was, and I'll show you what the quote is, he said, you got to be creative. When I was young, I took out a full page advertisement, the yellow pages. Some of you don't know what that is. It's the let me just tell you, it's the internet in print is what the yellow pages was. Anyway, so he said he took an ad out in the yellow pages. And he had 2 offices listed, one on the east side of Cincinnati and the other on the west side, while other heating and air conditioning companies only had 1 location. So he would tell people, and he created the perception he was citywide. He said, in fact, our west side office was just an answering service, telephone messages. From the start, we appeared to be a big company. I thought that brilliant idea. Kevin, very creative. That's who that guy is. So it's important to be creative in real estate as well. And so that's what the Smile Stops are. Let me share with you one of my favorite things to do. And it's coming up. I know listen, it's not, you think we got months, but you should start planning this now. This is my favorite one. One of our power agents is actually the CEO of Lab Coat Agents, Tristan. And Tristan said this is one of his favorite things is the trunk or treat. And what that concept is that the trunk or treat, instead of kids going door to door, they go from trunk to trunk. So what you do is you ask the neighbors to come to a parking lot and decorate their trunk some Halloween theme, right? And so what happens is the kids go from car to car doing the trunk or treat thing. You see, isn't that cool? Now, we love this idea so much because I only learned about it a few years ago. We created a whole planning guide on how to do the trunk or treat. Power Agents. It's in the website for you. And the idea is, instead of you, what's great about this, you're taking your whole farm area and like fish in a barrel, you're putting them in a parking lot, and you can have contests, you can have awards. It's fun. It's safe. You get to meet your neighbors. in this one parking lot. It's just an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. So, and by the way, you get promotion, not just the day of the event, but before the event and after the event, because then you get the papers involved, you can get the school district involved, the PTA. I mean, forget about it. Trunk or treat, huge thing. Everybody else is doing toys for tots and the papa, and all good, but you get ahead of it ahead of all that with the trunk or treat thing. Okay, newsletters, Power Agents. We have every newsletter that you can have for every month. You've got to do mailings. Guests on the call, you should be doing mailings. What's old is new again. Everybody's fighting for social media. Nobody, the mailbox is empty. So you should be mailing. Now's the time. And that's why we added Power Agents, especially our new Power Agents. We added the print portal. So now Power Agents, you can take the 600 marketing things we have for you and design it, customize it, print it, and have it mailed for you. In doing a farming campaign, make sure you send out an intro letter, which we wrote for you, Power Agents. Dear Hunter, don't mail it to Hunter. I got to meet this couple one time, the Hunters. Anyway, make sure you mail merge. My name is Darryl Davis. I specialize in selling your homes. I've chosen your area because it's a delightful, pleasant, convenient place to live, not to mention the fact that I also live in the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. So you customize the letters, you send it out. Then what I want you to do, you have your newsletters and supplement. You should rotate between these three letters, these powerful letters. First letter is you tell people, I'm delighted. I sold a home located at Umpty Ump. A month later, you mail this letter. I just want to let you know, here's the following homes that have sold in the area. But I mean, and then I just want you to know, here's all the homes that have sold and listed in this 30-day period. And then you go back. So these three letters, you could just keep bombarding the neighbors with these three letters. Now, does it say that I listed and sold these houses? No. I'm just giving them an update of what's happened in the market. But the fact that it's on my letterhead and I'm mailing it out to the neighbors, it creates a perception that I'm listing and selling everything in the market. I know one agent who did this in Long Island, New York, and within a year and a half, they were the top agent in that neighborhood because everybody just listed with this person because they're like, this guy's listing and selling everything. Here's another one of my favorites. This is a flyer, and then there's the dialogue on the right-hand side, and this is a postcard. Even the CEO of Zillow thinks you should ask a real estate agent what their home is worth. So let me go back to, let me show, if you can see the left side of the screen there, it says, in a prominent Market Watch article, Spencer Ratzkoff, Zillow's former CEO, said, we call it a Z-estimate, not a Z appraisal and not a Z price. It's meant to be a starting point to determine a more accurate opinion of the home's value. You should hire a real estate agent. Come on now. You got the former CEO of Zillow saying, listen, the Z-estimate is not even a price. It's something we make up. It's a starting point. Don't pay attention to it. Call an agent. I mean, come on. We need to mail this out, either a letter or postcard. We got dialogue too for when a homeowner says, yeah, but my estimate says his estimate is, he won't even listen to it. Okay. Spotlight your business. One of our, your local areas, spotlight businesses. This is all future. We're creating future business. This over here, Kat Ryan, one of our Power Agents, love Kat, very great person. What she did during the pandemic is she did interviews of local business owners and to help their business during when the shutdown, when everybody was locking in and stuff. But you know what? It's still a good idea, pandemic or not. So what we did is we created a series of questions. If you're going to interview local businesses, you should ask them these questions, like an interview, right? So what do you like best about the community? Why did you start your business in this community? What made you choose this town? These are powerful questions because it connects the business owner with the community. Or how are you making out in these challenging times? If there's challenging times, so depending if there's usually something going on in the world that's a challenge. My goodness, can't we just have some non-challenge times? Anyway, number 5, what new feature items, specials have you added recently to your business, whatever it is? And this would be the one commercial part, number 5. And if you really want to kick it up a notch, you should then go backstage of the business, whether it's restaurant, the kitchen, interview, like impromptu, fun. Number 5 is they use stories, metaphors, and analogies. Let me go through this really quick. So the 2 categories of metaphors and analogies are handling objections and marketing tools. So for example, when you're explaining to a homeowner, when it comes to selling their house, there's two prices, right? There's the for sale by owner price and there's the realtor price. And the reason why they're different is because realtors can sell at a higher price because of the marketing that we have. See, Marketing 101 says to get the highest possible price, you want as many buyers wanting that item. And in order to do that, you need exposure. Every buyer in that price range needs to know the house is for sale. And how they do that is marketing tools. The more tools you have, the more exposure it gets, which means the more buyers are wanting the property, which drives the price. See, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, as a for sale by owner, I want you to imagine if you were going to try and catch a fish, you go to the lake, you throw out a fishing line. Well, that's the same concept of trying to sell your house. Every buyer is like a fish. Now, when you place an ad online, that's a fishing line. When you put your for sale sign that you made it from Home Depot, that's another fishing line. Well, let me tell you something. Here at Power Realty, we don't use fishing lines. I want you to imagine a big fishing trawler going out into the ocean, throwing a big net and bringing all these buyers on board. This is why you need to hire an agent, because we can get more buyers, more quality buyers to your house. And talking about public open houses, we're not going to do this one right now because we're not going to hear the audio on this. So let me go to the next one, which is handling objections. So when you're talking about marketing tools, you need to use metaphors and analogies. When you're talking about handling objections, you would also do that. So for example, when they say, how are you different from another agent? You say, well, Mr. Miss Hana, let's pretend that you're going to have an extension built onto your house. So you hire a contractor who just got out of contracting school. They may not do a very good job. They're going to have a hammer, right? So they're going to take that hammer and they're going to produce a particular result. Let's say you give the same hammer to somebody who's been building extensions for years. They're licensed, they're bonded. They wrote the book on how to build extensions. You're going to get a totally different result using the same tool called the hammer. So yes, all agents have MLS, brokers open house, public open house, but the way we use the tools is where we differ. And you've got to ask yourself, do you feel like I know how to take the tools that are at my disposal to get your house sold for the highest possible price? Why should I pay you a commission? This market is so hot, I can sell it myself. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, selling a house is more than just finding the buyer. Imagine like a monopoly board. There's a whole other process. Finding the buyer is only part of the process. You know, to help other people sell their property, you got to be licensed in the state. And in New York, for example, it takes 75 hours just to get the right to take an exam that you still have to pass, which is not always easy to pass. 75 hours. They don't teach us how to show property in 75 hours. There's so much more to selling real estate than just finding the buyer. And that's my job. Most homeowners make the mistake. They think those few squares on the board is all there is to the game. There's all these other spaces and all these other moves that we have to do. I don't need an agent because I sold stuff before. I understand. You're a smart person. I know you know how to sell things. Let me share this with you, Mr. and Miss Hana. If I were to ask you to take these 9 dots and connect these 9 dots with 4 straight lines. And by the way, agents, power agents especially, I would actually do this in person. I would actually draw the 9 dots and have the person actually try and connect the 4 straight lines. Now, here's the thing. When you put your pen on the paper, you can't lift it off. It's got to stay on. 4 straight lines. Now, usually what happens is people go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we missed the dot. Now, the reason why they missed the dot is because they were trying to stay in a box. I didn't tell you to stay in the box. In order to connect the 9 dots, you must go outside of the box with those 4 straight lines. My point here, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, is the fact that you've sold things before. You're smart. You know what you're doing. But my job is to look outside of what you know, and together we can get this property sold. There's that old expression that when you're in the picture, sometimes you can't see the frame. My job is to see what you can't see, and together we can get this property sold. This is why attorneys who are even licensed, and if they were getting sued, they can represent themselves. But no attorney have I ever seen would represent themselves. They hire another attorney. Why? Because when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. Now, gang, what you need to do is have metaphors for every one of these objections. Like, our house is nicer. We did all these improvements. We can come down later. We need the money because of what we owe. We need the money because of the house we're buying. The other agent said we can get more. So those objections, you need to have metaphors, analogies for each one, along with when you're talking about MLS or your website or broker's open house, public open house. Each one of these you need to explain using a metaphor or analogy. I love the analogy of the dance, that a dance, that is the listing appointment. The dance floor is the kitchen table. Your partner is the seller, but your dance moves are your stories, metaphors, and analogies. My broker taught me that, which, by the way, for the guests on the call, if you become a power agent, you will get all those metaphors and analogies for that $5 for the trial. And so we're going to, as part of the bonuses, I just want to let the guests know that. Okay, we've got 2 more, and I got 4 minutes to do it on. Number 6 is they know how to put deals together. Vicki Yates, one of our power agents, said a second accepted offer today as a power agent. This is from a buyer whose husband refused to sign a buyer agency agreement. This was our 5th offer and finally happened. Again, thank you, Darryl. I never will work with a buyer agent without a buyer agency agreement again. So one of the things you got to do, gang, is understand that when you're working with buyers, there's a difference between a customer and a client. And some of you are treating your customers like they're a client. See, here's a customer. If I were going to go buy a car and I go to an Audi dealer, I'm a customer. Now, if I don't like one of the cars that they have, that salesperson doesn't bring me to a Ford dealer saying, all right, you want to try a Ford, Darryl? Oh, you don't like that? Let me bring you over to the Honda dealer and let's go over to Toyota. And you know what? For good measure, you want to try a Kia? They don't do that. Why? Because I'm a customer, not a client. But somehow in real estate, that's exactly what we do. A buyer comes to us and we bring them from dealership to dealership trying to sell them a car. It makes no sense. See, here's the difference between customer and client. A customer scenario is like buying a car, going to the grocery store, buying clothing, furniture. You're a customer. The business has to respect the customer, but the customer, the company is committed to the sale, not to the customer. See, if when it's a client, like for example, an attorney has clients, an accountant, insurance agent. When it's a client, watch this. Here's the big difference. Listen to me. There's a fiduciary responsibility to represent the client's best interest. And until a buyer signs a buyer agency agreement, they're not a client. They're a customer, like a grocery store, like a furniture store. But some of you are treating them like a client. They haven't hired you. So anyway, you've got to get good at explaining the difference and having them hire you to represent them and be a client. And you got to learn how to present your offers. This is the second thing in making deals, okay? Let's go to the last thing. That's here, power agents. There is a whole hour on how to get your offers accepted and also how to work with buyers. There's actually 2 classes on that. Go to the webinars on demand. Here's the last thing, and then I want to talk to the guests about something. You've got to keep the faith. Keep the faith and stay focused. This is what top agents do. You got to surround yourself with like-minded people. Like-minded people. They're going to encourage you. See, we all can see. You can see, right? You have eyes. You can tell. I'm not into working out. Come on. But I still ran the New York City Marathon. I did. It wasn't a great time, but I finished that thing. And here's how. I was raising money for leukemia. That's why I did it. But here's how I finished. I finished because of all the encouragement on the side of the road. The marathon, people were screaming and cheering and singing. They had music. It was incredible, the energy, the people that support us. I love these ladies. You got stamina, call me. I hear they got free beer at the finish line. Hurry up. That kind of encouragement. You need encouragement to help you go. This is why every top agent is some kind of training, coaching, support system, because here's the benefits, is that it takes years off your learning. I got 30 years, just me. Forget about the rest of my team. My team that has realization. You succeed quicker. I'm part of the National Speakers Association. You know who my mentors were? Zig Ziglar, my mentor. Les Brown. It takes years off your learning when you have people who've been there, done it before you. You get encouragement when you need it. Come on now. We all need that support and encouragement from time to time. All artists and athletes have some kind of coach, and it will keep you focused. And then keep it focused, not just the people around you. Make sure you have the charts and the motivation. I showed you that one. This is Power Agents, ton of stuff that we have for you. I told the guests, I showed you guys the activity tracker to help you stay focused and prospecting, tracking your production, putting up your dots, Power Agents. All of these things are to help you stay focused and motivated and encouraging yourself. The newsletters that we send out, the emails, every Power Agents, they're 5 emails a week. And I said this earlier, make a list of why you love real estate. All of you. Guess we're going to send that to you as well. So here's what we said. You got to know your worth. Respect yourself. You're taking time away from your family. Focus on building a business, which includes your inventory. Know how to generate the now business and also for future business, planting those seeds. Use stories, metaphors, analogies, especially on the listing appointment. Put deals together. Get creative. Learn how to do that. And number 7 is keep the faith and stay focused. Now, you guess I want to talk to you. Power Agents, stay on the call because we're going to do coaching now. So now that was the 7. I'm going to answer questions. And we will stay on this call as long as all the questions get answered. That's how we work here at Power Headquarters. This webinar is over when all your questions are answered. So however long that's going to take. But guess, listen, I'm going to invite you to try this now for $5 because for $5, you get complete access to everything. You're going to get these bonuses today and you can cancel anytime. Let me just give you the Reader's Digest version of what the Power Program is. Every Monday, there's coaching calls that are live. You can ask me questions. It's not like this. This you can ask questions at the end, but you got to type it in. But on the Monday coaching calls, you take yourself off mute. We can talk. We can role play. We record. So it's live. It's interactive. There's all these webinars on demand. There's dozens of training available to you, and they're all over an hour in training. We have, I think, the best Facebook group in the real estate industry because there's no advertising, there's no promotion. It's just for Power Agents. It's networking and positivity. The website, let me show you just some screenshots of the website. Now, these are just screenshots. I could go live in a minute, but when you log in, there's the dashboard, and let's say you go to Classroom. That's where all the magic is. When you go to Classroom, everything you need real estate related is alphabetical. So you need help with buyers, farming, and self-promotion. Let's look at the farming and self-promotion. Say, you know what? I need some help with farming and self-promotion. There's literally, I told you, 600 marketing pieces, flyers, letters, checklists, ton of stuff, and everything is customized. We added this feature a couple of years ago called a favorite because there's so much stuff in there. When you tag something as a favorite, it goes into your own folder that you can look at later. You see it's that bottom right-hand square. And when you go in there, that's where your stuff is. We use similar technology as Google. So let's say you type in the word FSBO, then everything FSBO related, whether it's a training, a video, a slide, something you use on an appointment, a mailing piece, etc., is all there. So guest, here's what we're going to give you as a gift that you get to keep. Is you're going to get a PowerPoint presentation on how to do a listing appointment. Then you're going to get a recording on delivering that listing appointment, along with a 3-part breakthrough business plan. This is the best business plan in our industry, and here's why. It's 43 pages, and it goes through how to, there's a plan for how to get now business, then a plan for future business, and then financial freedom. So there's 3 plans in the one business plan, along with if you're a new agent and you need get started, or you're an experienced agent, want to restart your business, we got that for you, a guide on that. Our 12 best dialogues, FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, pre-foreclosures, voicemail for FSBOs, voicemail for expireds, the 184 things that you do to earn your commission. Come on now. That one is awesome. There's a guide that we wrote that you give to your buyers and you give to your sellers when it's a multiple offer situation. It's telling them how to deal with the craziness. So that makes you look like a hero because you're managing people's emotional expectations, along with an Excel spreadsheet on how to present all the offers to your homeowner when you have multiple offers, so they can see all the offers on one sheet, and so they can see the net numbers and see the other things. Plus, you're going to get a copy of today's slides. You'll get a copy of this recording. And if you need a CRM, which we have our own called Power Builder, and power agents think it's the best CRM in our industry. So everything is almost $2,000, but hey, you get to keep it. I'm not kidding, for $5. So that's our gift to you for being on this call and checking us out. And we hope that you will take us up on that offer because, you know, I think it's a great deal. So we're going to now, power agents that are on the call, do me a favor. Couple of things, power agents. Could you let the guests know what you think about the program? The reason I'd like you to let them know is because we use that as part of the survey too. Like you saying what you say, it tells us as a company how we're serving you and how we're helping you. And it's like our report card, because we read these chats, we save them. And plus, if you have questions, now your questions right now could be about two things. It could be about the program, or it could be about what I covered today, prospecting, listings, So whatever you want to answer to, we're going to go to Julie. Just write your question in that little Q&A thing, and Julie will read it for you. So, Julie, do we have any questions?
We do. Thank you. Wow, you got to take a deep breath. Debbie is a happy power agent. Can you tell us where in the power agent dashboard to find the calendars?
Okay, so for the power agent question, so the power agent, the classroom is where all the magic is, okay? So if you think the charts, Debbie, is that who asked the question?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be under time and money management. So most of the charts are in the time management. Okay. So there is all the charts. There's calendars. There's the dot board. There's the power agent activity tracker that I talked about today. There's two versions of the dot board. There's some signs that hang up. Do not disturb because you're prospecting. What else do we have? Daily activity chart. Now, also, so anyway, did I show the chart that she wanted? I forgot which one.
I wanted the calendars, but the other question I had was where was the productivity chart? So it's in the time and money management section of your classroom.
Okay. So that's where it is. Next question.
How do you respond to new leads? You say, I just call the listing agent for whatever I want to view. I guess that's for buyers.
I don't understand the question.
All right, Heather, can you maybe repurpose your question?
Oh, wait. Let me see. I see it. How do you respond to a lead who says, I just call the listing agent for wherever I want to view? Oh, I get it, Heather. So in other words, the buyer is saying, I'm calling the listing agent for each listing. Okay, I get it. So what you would say, Heather, is that, okay, well, if you knew that was costing you tens of thousands of dollars, would you consider stop doing that? And so I would say that to the buyer, and they would hopefully say, yeah, what do you mean? Well, you see, legally, real estate agents are licensed by the government, and there are certain criteria. And one of them is just like attorneys or accountants or doctors, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our client. And the listing agent has a fiduciary responsibility to the seller. The seller is the client. So when you call the listing agent, you think you're going to get a better deal. The opposite is true. The selling agent's commitment is to make sure you pay as much as possible for that house. That's their legal responsibility. What you need, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, is an agent that you hire to represent you in the negotiations. So I'm not saying it's me, but I'm telling you, you need to find an agent that's going to look out for your best interest. So you should stop doing that. I hope that helped. Next question.
I love it. So we've got a lot of people that are looking for to relook at a lot of the different slides. Can you just tell them how to get the slides so they can repurpose that however they want later?
Yeah.
We'll cover like 6 questions in one.
Yeah. So for the power agents that are wanting to know where all of those slides are, if you go into Darryl's top picks, we have here, grab the slides from the latest training. Right. And by the way, Sarah, can you make a note? Can we change that color to red so it pops out more? But so when you click on this, grab the slides, that'll be today's training. So every Wednesday, that will be updated based on the webinar I just taught. OK, there's other stuff in here, too, power agents. When you go to Darryl's top picks, there's our brainstorming sessions, which are crazy, awesome, incredible, which, by the way, we have our brainstorming session, Power Agents, tomorrow. Oh, listen, if you're a guest, you should sign up today, because tomorrow give me a second, because you need to know this. This is important. So this is the last session we did last month. And so it's loading the page. So session number 9. So what this session was an hour and a half. These are power agents. And what they do is, in the brainstorming session, they come to the call and they share one tool, one something that they're using that is working really well for them, right? Then what we do is we record that call, we take that, we transcribe it, and then we create a book around it. And this is what we do every month. So tomorrow is session number 10 for Power Agent Brainstorming. And just to give you an idea, this was how many ideas? We have 41 ideas that came from this last call. And this is how we write it. I love how we do this, because there's no fluff. It's just tip after tip. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And it just rattles off all of this great content. And I'm telling you, gents and ladies, the brainstorming session, the content that comes out of this is just so incredible. And it's every month. You could, the power program just for the brainstorming, because you can't even do all the great content that's in here. So you pick 1 or 2 things and you implement it in your business. Next question, Julie.
Plus, it's a chance to be in the room with hundreds of people that are like-minded every month. That's
absolutely,
it's so incredible.
All right, next question.
Objection. What, with the market the way it is, if I sell my house, where would I move? How would you respond to this?
Zola, yeah, this is the one market where, oh, is that not who asked that? I'm sorry. This is the one market where it is true. A homeowner, before they sell, they should know where they're going, because they're right. This market there's few inventory. Listen, I've been doing this for 30 years. I never would say this. This is the first time in my 30 plus years in this business am I saying this. Yes, they should know where they're moving to first before they put their house on the market, because yes, it's going to sell quick. Now, even if you price it above market value, like 20, 30,000 or 10% or whatever, it's still going, there's still the possibility with the shortage of inventory that they may not have a place to go. Nobody, in my opinion, in this market should be putting their house up for sale if they don't know where they're already going. Okay.
Perfect.
Next question.
Zola says, what about a super in the buildings trying to show apartments and requesting to get paid a fee? That goes way back to the beginning where you were talking about you have to be licensed.
Yeah, Zola, what I would do is I would, first of all, this is a legal entanglement. So you need to get some legal advice, honestly, because you can't pay them, because that would be against the law. I already told you that. Number 1. Number 2 is, if you tell him that or her that, and then they don't make it easy for you to show it, then that's a problem. So I think you need to actually get some legal advice from somebody, because this is going to snowball into a problem. So head it off before it becomes a problem. Next question.
Fantastic. We're getting lots of power agents saying what they love and sharing, and we're sharing that in the Q&A, so you guys can read those there. Russ says, is there accountability in the Power Agent program? Yeah,
Russ, there isn't. This program at $47 a month, there's no accountability, right? So there are other colleagues of mine that, they have, their program is based on accountability. I will tell you what I've heard from some of our agents who have become power agents is the problem with some of those accountability programs is that it's just somebody who's a clerk. They really don't know real estate. And you're paying hundreds or thousands of dollars. I mean, if you're paying thousands of dollars, usually that's somebody who knows real estate. But when you're at the other level, and it's really just, and then and here's the other thing, they make you commit to a whole time frame, and it could be a year or something. And we don't do that. Ours is month to month. We treat you with a certain amount of expectation that you are a self-starter. So the power program is like this. It's like a painter's palette, and you have your canvas, and you've got all these colors, and you have this vision of what you want to paint on the canvas. You're not going to use all the colors on the palette. So you use the ones that you need to produce the result that you want. So but you are causing the result. You are the painter of the result. And so the power program is your palette of colors. And you come to us with, hey, you need help with marketing? Here you go. If you need some coaching, there's the Monday calls. You need some skill building training, that's the Wednesday webinar. So anyway, hope that helped you. Next question.
I love it. So if somebody wants to get started, there's so much. What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so the best way to get started is if you go into the classroom and you go to the, again, everything's alphabetical. There's something called the onboarding program. When you click on the onboarding, it's an actual training class that helps you get acclimated to the program and gives you homework assignments. So, you know, I stand somewhat corrected by Julie's question, which is good. This is a form of accountability where you're not getting beat up, though. It's at your own pace. So download the calendars, head over to the Power Agent directory. And as you accomplish those things, you check them off, and then you get points for checking them off. So it's a big gamified. But what's really cool about this is when it says download the daily activity tracker from the time and money management. Well, when I just clicked on it, it just actually launched it for me. And there is the activity tracker, which is what I talked about earlier today. Another example of that is head over to the Power Agent directory. And I will tell you, the directory, we're seeing about 5 deals a month back and forth between power agents who are looking for people in other parts of the country. And if they're going to give it to somebody, they want to give it to a power agent. So when you click on it, there's my guy, Albert. And there I'll have all of his contact information, his website, his bio. And so there's that as well. Some agents have told us, Darryl, the directory by itself is actually worth the $47 a month. It's one of the colors. Next question, Julie. One
of the colors. I love that. Betty asks, what is the fee for the CRM and how long does it take to get set up?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. Is the CRM was customized for us by this company called Exact Contact, okay? So, and Exact Contact, we negotiated a price that's better than their price. And so you actually pay less than if you were go directly there. Plus, a lot of the Power Agent content, like the newsletters and letters, are added into the CRM. Now, to answer your question, how long does it take to get acclimated? They have their own onboarding system, and they're incredibly awesome. They hold your hand. They help transfer your leads from one CRM to the other. You have the first 30 days. You don't pay anything, so you can get acclimated to that. If it doesn't work out, then you're not stuck. What else? The price, that one is separate because it's a CRM. That one is $49 a month. So that's separate from the Power Agent membership because not everybody needs a CRM. So it's a separate product that we negotiate a price and we customize it for you. Next question.
Yes. What would be the best way to answer, will we have another housing crash?
What is the best way to handle that is, I don't know. I mean, obviously I wouldn't say it that way. I'm being sarcastic because it's not a useful question or answer to engage in because there's no way anybody could know. Would anybody have known that we would be in war right now with Ukraine, or with Russia being in war with Ukraine? Like, who would have known that? And how that's impacting the global market. So, and now interest rates are, I mean, there's so many things. There's no way somebody's that smart where they can say this is probably what's going to happen because that's looking into the future. But what we do know is what we know today. And what we do know today is prices are really high for sellers. They can maximize the value of their property. If they're thinking about selling, this is a great time. Could property values come down? Could interest rates go up and shrink out the buyers, which will in fact, yeah, it's all possible. But let's just deal with today. What are you committed to? So nobody should buy or sell real estate to try and time it unless you're an investor. That would be the only way, the important thing. Next question.
Perfect. The 3 letters Darryl was talking about, what is the time span for sending those letters out?
Susan, great question. Susan, here's my philosophy when it comes to starting a mailing campaign on a farm. Number one is it must be consistent. So consistent is not just the time, amount of mailings, but the number of people and who the people are. So the same people need to see your face, name, and what you do for a living over and over again consistently. Now, how often should those mailings be? At a minimum, 30 days. Every month they should get something. But there's a supercharged system that I recommend that we created, which is in the first 2 months, you mail every other week. And the reason why is because the Direct Mail Marketing Association said that a customer needs to see the same message 5 to 7 times before they actually pick up the phone and take action. So if you mail once a month, 5 mailings would be the 5th time that maybe they'll start to call. That's 5 months of mailing. But if you supercharge it where you do every other week, in your first 60 days, you've contacted them 4 times. So it shortens the response rate time by you doing it that way. So every other week for the first 2 months, then go to monthly. Next question.
I love it. We received fabulous text messages, extremely encouraging. They arrive in my message box when I need them most. Can we actually promote that?
Yeah. So what Marie's talking about is we have power agents get one of my cell numbers that I use to send out from my phone motivational messages twice a week, one at the beginning of the week, one at the end of the week. And most of the time they're a text. Sometimes it'll be an audio recording as well. I didn't even put that as one of the features of the program because listen, if you're a guest, there are things that we do that we don't even promote as a feature. It's because we just do things because, you know, like we're going to be mailing our power agents something. They don't even know we're mailing it to them. We haven't told them. It's just because we want to.
Surprises are coming.
To do this mailing, it'll cost over $5,000 just because. But because we love our power agents, we know it'll put a smile on their face and it'll be good for their business as well. So the last thing we did similar to that, we mailed out 10,000 magazines that were like 46-page magazines. You know, we didn't charge for it. We just, you know, in printing costs, it was a big project. We sent it out, but we knew the power agents would appreciate it, and which they did. So next question.
Yes. When is the brainstorming session? Date and time?
The brainstorm. Okay. So power agents. Okay. Hang on a second. So if I go to dashboard, right? So power agents, this is important because it's tomorrow. Did I even announce that Monday, Julie? I feel like I didn't announce it.
I think we did. Yes. We
did. Okay. Webinar registration. So power agents, when you log into the classroom, you will see, this is the Monday coaching calls, the onboarding Tuesday session. This is today's webinar. And there is tomorrow's session, the Power Agent Brainstorming session. So it's going to be at 12 o'clock Eastern time, Power Agents. So, you know, make sure that you, you know, be ready to share one marketing thing, one powerful thing that you're doing in your business to share with the other Power Agents.
And that's you don't have to register for that. That's going to be a Zoom call. So it's live. We're all on camera. We're all in the room together. So
yeah, make sure you're ready to turn your camera on because it's so, you know,
don't come in the bathrobe. We're just saying.
That's right. Be dressed and be raring to go because there's something about the visual of 150. Usually we get about 150 power agents on the call, and it just is a good team feeling as well. Yeah. Next question.
Awesome. Michelle asks, any advice on how to get around the seller not wanting to list because with listing their home, they then become a buyer in this crazy market? I hear a lot of, yes, I can list at the top of the market, but then I have to compete with other buyers when it's time for me to purchase with rates going up. How do we get around this?
Yeah, it's Michelle, it's the same thing. There's no getting around that. Is the seller should know where they're going before they put their house on the market in this market. So there's no getting around it. So if a homeowner does not know where they want to move to, then they shouldn't put their house on the market. So now they may say, I know I want to move, let's say to Tampa, and I'm willing to rent until we find our house. That's fine. They have to have a plan because this market, their houses could sell quick. So they should be prepared to move, period. So if you have somebody that wants to list, but they don't know where they want to move, then you could spend the time to help them find the new place, make them sign a buyer agency agreement. And when they sign the buyer agency agreement, you should add in there that they also agree to list their house with you. and which you could do as well. Next question.
We actually had that come up on the coaching call. One of our power agents uses that as one of her services, is post closing, you know, helping them with all of that. So that's just smart.
Yep.
Sherry says, are you auto billed at a certain time of month?
Yes, it's correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, is it or Sarah, is it every 30 days? Is it the 30 days from when they register?
From when they register. So it would be, if you signed up today, it would be the 6th of May. So it would be 30 days from the day you register. Yeah, so it's not like the 1st and the 15th or anything like that. It's based on when you register.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. By the way, I do want to shout out to Susan Kermel. Thank you, Susan. I'm going to post this. She said, thank you, Darryl. You guys are absolute best. For anyone that is on the fence about joining, skip the Starbucks today and join for $5. See what is offered, and you'll be hooked. Darryl and his team go way above. Somebody just published. Okay, way above. Darryl and his team go way above any other coaching program out there. So thank you so much, Susan, for saying that. And we do. We try anyway. We try really hard to wow you guys. And give you much more than you expect. So next question, Julie.
I love it. How do you handle a couple when one wants to sell and the other one does not?
Marriage counseling.
we do wear counselor hats in this business, right?
Yeah, but we're not licensed to do that. So if you've got somebody who wants to sell and the other one doesn't, I would gracefully tell them, all right, when you guys get on the same page, let me know. I'll be here to help you. You know, so I would, that's it. There's nothing you can do with that. So, you know, if they want to ask you questions, or if one wants to help you work it through, or, you know, the person that's reluctant, if they want you to coach them, then they'll ask you. So next question.
Love it. Gail asks, how does the Monday coaching work? Is it individual realtors or a group of realtors?
Great question, Gail. So what happens is that I'll go through a few things. Number one is you're given a specific number to call. It's a Zoom. We record it as well. And I'll show you what it looks like, actually. So let me go to the Facebook. And so instead of us using like a telephone service, we actually use Zoom. And what happens, and the reason why we use Zoom, hi, I'm a power agent. So excited, Helena. This is where I am right now. Oh, no, I'm not in that. Am I in the group, Power Agent members? Yes, I'm in the Power Agent group. So this is, let me scroll down. So that's Gail. And this is Gail. I don't know why Gail was posted so many times.
Because we added to, and that's a little tip for our Power Agents. We added a hashtag tech training so that they can easily find the tech training in the group if they want to rewatch it, because we live stream it. We record it in the Facebook group, and that's where they can find it.
Okay, good.
That's fine.
All right. So this is what you're seeing now on the screen right now is the last coaching call this past Monday. And you'll see that this coaching call went 2 hours and 22 minutes there at the bottom. And because they're supposed to be an hour, but as I said to you, how we work here at our company is we end the call when everybody is taken care of. So the same thing with this webinar. We'll be done when all the questions are answered. So that's how the Monday calls are too. Now, you'll see here it says 53 comments. And so there's a lot of thread, a lot of chatter, a lot of suggestions, a lot of help. So what happens is the call's at 11 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. You can watch on Facebook, or you can call in via Zoom's telephone number and take yourself off mute, ask me your question, I coach you, and then we record the call. Then it goes into the Power Agent classroom where it says coaching calls. That audio is then posted here so you can listen to it. And here's the April 4th one. March. And so you can listen to the coaching call. You can download it and listen to it on your phone as well. I will tell you the Power Agents have told us, and I'm interested the Power Agents to comment on this right now on during the webinar, your thoughts on the calls. But what we've been told is they love the Monday calls not just because they're getting personal coaching or they can listen to it later, but they learn so much from other people. But most importantly, we call it Mindset Monday because it sets the tone for the entire week. So when you bring your questions and concerns, because I'll cover anything, you know, motivation, the listing appointment, whatever. So people seem really inspired every week by being on those calls. So yeah, like that. Next question, Julie.
Is there a list of what is said in the different mailings? So I think she wants to know what the letter said, and that we have thumbnails that you can look at.
Yeah. So what I'll do is let me show you the letters. So if I go to farming, and then if I go to, give me 1 second, I'm typing something else. I want to see about showing you something. If I'm in the farming, everything's alphabetical. So there's the dialogues and there's the e-guides. Now this says flyers. So I'm on the F's now for flyers. But then if I scroll down to letters, which this is one of the biggest chapters of the program. Here's all the letters. So of course the letters say all different things, and you can customize. Now what's really important that you understand is that everything in the Power Program, you can customize it even down to this letter. You can delete periods and commas, and because these are all written in Microsoft Word for you. So it makes it really super easy for you to edit. Now I'm up to the newsletters. These are all the newsletters. Same thing. Every single one of these are super easy to edit. So next question, Julie.
Well, and they are, you can use them, repurpose them in so many different ways. Like one newsletter can be a Facebook post. It can be a blog post. You can copy and paste and use all of that content in so many different ways. And that's awesome because that's multi-layer marketing, right?
Right, exactly. I want to show everybody something, Julie. So we just launched like yesterday, I think, the survey. So we've gotten 200 power agents respond to the survey. We just launched it, so we're going to get more, I know, back. But just so you guys see, because you brought up the Monday coaching calls, this is, we asked the power agents to tell us their top 3 things that they love most about the program. And the Monday coaching calls was the highest one. The second was the ready-made marketing things that we have for them, and the skill building material as far as listing and selling real estate. Then close to that is these training sessions on Wednesday, then the on-demand, because all of these weekly are recorded and you'll be able to watch them at your own leisure. And then there's some other stuff, the CRM, the print portal, etc. But, oh, in the Facebook group. My point is the top 3 things that power agents seem to love is the Monday coaching call, the ready-made marketing, and the skill building training that we give them. So
I love it.
And I'll tell you, the skill building, I just want to say, the thing about the skill building is what you heard me say today, which is stories, metaphors, and analogies. That's because then you can, like, for those of you that are still on the call, right? Like, what were some of the metaphors that I used really quick today, right? You probably, what were some of them, Julie? I can't think of it right now.
The director's technique.
The director's technique. Those of you probably can do the Broadway show director thing. You didn't memorize the dialogue. I did the doctor, the lawyer representing themselves. They could, all of these things that I just said, you could probably, if you really sat and thought of and you didn't have to memorize dialogue. That's the power of metaphors and analogies. Once you hear it, you get it. Now you got to get better at delivering it each time, but it's a lot easier than memorize scripts. Next question, Julie.
And everybody loved the dots. You got to go out of the box. That was everyone. We had so many questions or so many comments on that.
Okay, cool.
Linda, I'm looking forward to getting started. Welcome, Linda. Welcome to the program. We're excited to have you. Yeah. Isa says, do the power agents get an email reminding them of the brainstorming session?
Yes, we're really good at staying in communication with you. We'll text you, email you. Listen, we send out, I showed that earlier. I think for some reason, I'm locked up over here on this slide, so I can't show you. But we do have, we send out 5 emails a week, and they're training. Actually, I think 4 training emails. One is a reminder about the webinar. But So we send out like Saturday strategies. Like one of the things that we do, I'm proud of, is that every Saturday we take one of the plethora of Power Agent things that we have for you, a tool or whatever, and we email you the one tool to try and spoon feed it and help you. So anyway, to answer your question, yeah, we remind you, we stay in communication with you. We have a customer service rep who's awesome, Gail and Shelly, those two folks. All right, what else we got?
While you're talking about that, if I have questions or I want to rejoin, where do I go?
Let's do this first while people are still on the call. We should get these testimonials out. Like Linnell is saying, I love this program. Such great information. Resources are plenty. Darryl is just awesome. Thank you, Lynn. And with all the information he gives us so you can be successful. Yeah. So any other testimonials that you want to read?
We published a lot of them. Do you want me to go back?
No, not now. So, but yeah. So we should get those out first, and let me hear them and let people hear them, and then go to the questions. So try and balance. So what's the next question?
Sherry just joined. Welcome. I love it. Do we mail the postcards in the beginning or the same every other week for 2 months? I just went to the print portal.
Cindy. Okay. So Cindy's a Power Agent. She's asking about the print portal. Let me show you the print portal, gang, and I'll answer your question, Cindy. And Cindy, if I don't, well, hang on. Do we mail the postcard in the beginning the same every other week for 2 months? Okay, Cindy, let me first answer your question. Yes, the key is consistency. So Cindy, if you decide the first postcard that's going to go out is Monday, and you're going to do every other week, then the next postcard should go out the other Monday. And then Monday. So you need to, it's consistent, same day of the week until you switch it to the monthly. So when you go to the monthly, if you choose the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month, make sure it's the 15th of every month, okay? The Power Print Portal, which she was talking about. So the Power Print Portal, when you click on that, it will bring you to, we use this company called Express Copy, but we have a discount for Power Agents. And plus you can carry over all of the content in there. And what they'll do is they'll mail it out for you. You can actually post on social media. You can take one of the pieces and convert it into social media. But the other thing that's really cool is that nobody else gets this, is that the mailing list. So if you have a farm area that you want to mail to of, let's say, 200 people, how do you get those addresses? Well, with our PowerPrint portal, you can get that list of 200 people and pay $0. So, or 2,000, like whatever list you need to mail to, we got it for you, and it's $0.
Yeah.
How you get it is when you go to the print portal and you upload the piece that you're going to mail, like the postcard or the flyer. When you're in the shopping cart, and it asks you, all right, we got it. We got the flyer you want to mail out, or this letter, or the postcard. Okay. Where's the list? Who are we sending it to? You can either upload your list, or you can say, can I get it from you guys? And they'll say, sure. And you tell them the address, and there's a whole process. Like you can, like if people have a pool or something, like you can really customize the list however you want, you know? So anyway, good stuff.
Exactly. We didn't even put that in the bonuses. So free data basically is in there as well. Yeah. George says, I've been with Darryl from year 2 in my career. I wasted 2 years doing it my way. My career has never been the same. He gets better each year, and more than a decade later, I still tell everyone that Darryl's the guy to go to for real estate coaching. Thank you, George.
Thank you, George. Remind me to send you that $5 for the.
Right. Beatrice's Power Agent program is the best, well organized, and great customer service. Thank you, Beatrice.
Thank you.
Carol, so many ideas. The classroom is chock full of ideas to choose from. It's a great that we can brand it as our own. I love it. Mavis, the Power Agent program is the absolute bomb. It provides the best data for literally nothing. It's a no-brainer.
Thanks, Marvis. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. How editable is the Power Agent info, i.e., can you replace your logo? Oops, where'd it go?
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know what? For some reason, Julie, I'm going to have to close it because for some reason, my PowerPoint just locked up on me. So, and give me a second. Okay. I think I fixed it. How editable is it? So let's see. Hopefully I don't have a software problem like I just experienced. Let me pick something. Let's say you want to give me a second, gang. I want to pick something fun here to open up. Okay, let's pick the 26 reasons why a FSBO should not sell themselves. And let's say you wanted to mail that to a FSBO or drop that off, and you needed a Spanish version. We have a Spanish version for you. But let's go to the English version. And so I click on that, and what's going to happen, it downloads the file, and things are either created in PowerPoint or they're created in Microsoft Word. And even if you're an Apple user or Google Drive, whatever, you can. The reason why we did it that way is because in any of those scenarios, you can convert the document easily. So they all talk pretty with each other. And what's really great about this, you don't have to learn another software. So here we have the 26 reasons. Let's say number 1, you save in commission, you'll lose your sales price. Statistically, ages. Let's say you don't like what we wrote and you want to write something else. Look what I just did. I just deleted number 1 and I'm writing away. So that's number 1. Number 2 is your information and logo will go down here, as you can see that. And you can add other stuff as well. And there's the Power Agent logo that you can move. So you have full customization. But wait, here's the best part. Let's say you wanted to do a post on social media on, you know, the top 5 reasons why a homeowner should not sell as a FSBO. I'll highlight those top 5. Wait, I have to do that. And I copy it. And let's pretend I'm in social media right now on Facebook or something. And I post it here. You can't see it. There you go. Do you see it? So this is, and let's say I want to edit that because, oops, I made a typo with number 1. So let me fix number 1 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm editing it as I go along. So that's how easy it is and how customizable it is. It's so much better. Like there's some of these other online things that we were looking at, having software for online editing. And we say, you know what? Now people got to learn another software. It's more complicated. Now you can save it, use it, and bada bing. So next question. Bada
bing, and you can have this whole thing could be a blog post for you. So there's so many different ways of repurposing it.
Yep.
Cindy says, thank you, Darryl. I love being a power agent. The tools in education are like none other. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Annette says, the Power Agent program keeps me motivated. Facilitates tools that we would need from different companies in just the Power Agent website for just 1 monthly fee, not to mention all the time and money saved in webinars. We attend the valuable webinars where it's most convenient for us, and we do not have to pay for each one. I could keep going on.
Thanks, Annette. Awesome.
And we do try to make it a one-stop shop, right? Everything you need in one spot. Do you get to keep the list for the mailing if they compile it for the print?
Yes, Marie. Yeah, when they compile the list for you, you get to keep the list. And they charge people, so people buy the list, but exclusively only for Power Agents, you get it for free. So, yep.
I love it.
Next question.
Veronica says, I love the Smile Stop concept for cold calling drop-bys. Kid, I see that again. There's so many. And where do you find Smile Stops in the classroom?
Well, it's in the farming, right? But what I just did is I just did the search called Smile. And what popped up now is here's Smile Stops for every season. Here's an inspirational social media post about smiling. Here's some more Smile Stops for October, for March, for January, May, June, December. They're not in order of the months because I use this search function. But where it tells you where these Smile Stops are is in the Farming and Self-Promotion tab. So if I click on the Farming and Self-Promotion tab, and again, everything is alphabetical. So if I go to S for Smile, and I'm past flyers, I'm in letters right now, L, and I'm in newsletters, postcards.
There's a lot in farming.
Seller, Smile. Here we go. Smile Stop, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And just in case we didn't have enough, here's a whole bunch of ideas just for spring, for summer, our 10 favorites, and for every season, because Julie has too much time on her hands because Julie created all these.
They're fun. Everybody loves them. I love it. Irene says, I'm a new Power Agent. I have access to modules 1 and 2. Do I need a certain amount of points before moving to the next module? No. You got that?
No. Irina, so that's a great question. So let me address that in a couple of ways. First of all, you do not have to finish a module. They unlock weekly.
They unlock weekly.
So Sarah, Sarah, tell me, is it time then? So if somebody starts a module, they can't go to the next one until 7 days. Is that right?
Yes. So the concept is it unlocks week by week.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. All right, hang on a second, because I just noticed something, Irina, with your question. I really appreciate your question. So I'm going to tell you something. So what Sarah just said, because Sarah created this with Julie. So you don't have to uncheck everything, but it is time because we want you to finish everything in a week. And after a week, even if you didn't finish, it'll open up the next module. Now, hang on a second. Irina, if I'm saying your name wrong, I really super apologize. If, let's say, you don't want to do that and it's frustrating you and you want to go on to the next module, like you're done with plan 2, you don't want to do it, like you did as much and you want the next one, you don't want to wait a week, I want you to go here and I want you to send a message to my team saying, hey, can you just unlock the whole program for me? Okay. And we'll do that for you. Yeah, you're welcome. Because I know Sarah, April is going through her CE for her real estate license, and she's going faster than the CE classes, and it's frustrating her, and I don't want to frustrate our power agents. So if they ask to unlock, we can unlock it, yes?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right. So keep it the way it is, because I do believe the concept is correct. You give it a week, apply everything, blah, 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 blah. But if we got a fast learner like Irina, then let her go. So now I will tell you, while I'm on it, we have like the best. Can you see the chat here, or maybe not as well? Okay, there we go. Yeah. This is our chat. We have the best chat. Do you see where it says under 2 minutes? So here's how it works, gang, on the chat. When you when you send a chat there, everybody in my team, my company, their computers go ding dong like a doorbell. And so everybody in my team knows somebody's at the door. And based on your question, whoever's the best team member to address it will pick up the call, so to speak, right? And we use a company called Intercom. And so Intercom says that our response rate, I highlighted there, is under 2 minutes. So that's not us or blowing smoke saying it's 2 minutes. That is Intercom rating us. So that's how good we are. And by the way, one other thing, I am not a fan of texts and chats. Like, I like to just talk to people. And if you're like me and you don't want to do this back and forth chat, just tell my team saying, hey, can you call me? Here's my cell. And we'll call you right away. So we don't want to not talk to you. We're just trying to, we think this is easier for you, but some people, you just want to talk on a phone. No problem. We'll talk on the phone with you. Plus our 800 numbers on every page. All right.
On every page.
And next question.
I think we are coming to a close.
Okay, we're done. Okay, listen, we're done. So here's what you need to do. You need it when I hang up on this webinar, that little floating bar thing there that says start my trial is going to go away. So click on it before I close this out so you don't miss out. Here's what's going to happen. When you click on that thing, it's going to ask for your information. And then you're going to, as soon as you hit, I'm a power agent, you are going to get emailed to you all of those gifts. You'll get some other onboarding. We're going to hold your hand. It's going to take a few weeks for you to get acclimated, get your feet wet on this program. We're here to help you. This is what I believe. I believe this coming months, we're going to see a shift in the real estate market in a positive way. You want a position to make sure your business grows, and we're here to help you do that. And I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for being on this call with us and my team. And I hope it was valuable and you learned some stuff. And we care about you. And the most important thing is you are essential. You are very important to people's well-being because everything revolves around real estate. Right now, you are sitting somewhere in a building called real estate. You are sitting in a chair on a piece of real estate. Your office, your house is a piece of real estate. Planet Earth is a piece of real estate in the universe. You are in the business that everything evolves around. There's a war over real estate. So that's how important real estate is. And you are the director and important piece of that. So the money you make is a gauge as to how many people's lives you've touched. I believe who you are is committed to helping others, and you've chosen real estate as a tool to make a difference in the world. And we want to help you become better skilled at making a difference. So thanks for your time. We love you here. Stay safe, stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Julie.